This is Jesús, Manuel, Mena, Garza. I hope you're having a fantastic day. In this video, I talk about photography, old school photography, and some contemporary trends in photography. I'm gonna go way back. I was in high school in the 60s, and I had my studio in the 80s, 90s, and I did a lot of photography and video projects back in the day. I then started teaching school and doing some freelance work, and now I'm pretty much retired, okay? So let's go over some of my photography equipment that I still have lying around. First of all, I'm going to talk about my first camera back in '67. I used to cover the football game with one of these, an Argus C3. This is a manual 35mm camera. Weighs a ton. You could probably hammer, nails with it. In fact, this kicks some contemporary cameras' butts because it's so heavy. I mean, this is a box of solid metal. This is not plastic, okay? So again, I covered a football game with this camera. Then I evolved into the Nikons and those cameras. Eventually, the teacher trusted me enough to use that kind of camera. Then I went to college and I shot a lot of photographs with my Hasselblad. My first camera I ever bought. Everybody else was buying new cars. I was buying a Hasselblad with an 80mm lens, and the school had 150 and 50 and 40 lenses and 250 lenses that I can borrow. So it was a great opportunity for me because nobody else was borrowing Hasselblad lenses. A lot of the photographs that you see on exhibition in galleries in Europe, Mexico, and the United States from coast to coast, those were shot with a Hasselblad. Let me show you my Hasselblad here. My latest Hasselblad has a reflex finder, 150 lens, A12 back, motorized ELM model. So this camera, I used to have in my studio, just sitting there and waiting for clients. Used to for weddings, I would put a soft tar lens to soften up the image, make it look glamorous, okay? There's soft tar 1s, 2s, and 3s back in the day. And to test, see if my exposures were correct, I use a Polaroid back. I still have all this equipment here because it's not worth much. I guess I can sell it for a few $100, but nah, I just have it lying around, and I find it useful. So I would photograph projects. I would lug around. Let me just show you my video tripod that I used to use in the 90s, okay? This thing weighs a ton. Okay, this is a monster. This is a monster Manfrotto. Oy, oy, oy. I'm just showing you, I'm just giving you a glancing view of it. Again, back in the day, I would climb a ladder, a rickety ladder to the 4th floor. Just imagine climbing a ladder with all that equipment on your back to the roof of a building to do a video shoot. I couldn't do that today. But I used to carry this tripod, my cameras, my video cameras, and just do the project way back in the days in the 90s, okay? Back in the 80s, I used to use this camera once in a while if I wanted something simple and lightweight when I would go on the top of a big ladder. For example, for a group shot, I remember shooting with a camera similar to this, a Yashica D that I had in my back, inventory. And I shot a group shot of the Silicon Valley publication, the Business Journal. I also used it for portraits also, but I mainly used the Hasselblad for portraits of executives in Silicon Valley, the Intels, the Alteras, all the different corporations down there that I photographed for the San Jose Business Journal. That was one of my clients. And I gained entree to a lot of events like the Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce events, and I would photograph, the directors of Intel again and such. Back in the day, we'd use, let me grab this, light meters. Of course, we don't use light meters anymore. I just pretty much just use, what's available in the camera. So, see all my equipment? It's pretty heavy, but it worked for me back in the day. I would have my tripod, my 4x5, 5x7 camera, or my Hasselblad, and I'd photograph tons of portraits. People would knock on my door, everything. I used to say everything from the nuns down the street at the church to the strippers down the road here would ask me to take pictures of them, portraits. People would ride up in their bicycles and say, "Hey, can you take a picture of me with my bicycle?" And I said, "Yeah, take a picture of your bicycle." you on your bicycle. I would, of course, shoot weddings, quinceañeras. No bar mitzvahs, though. I never got invited to a bar mitzvah. So that's all the old school equipment. Now let's get into the new school equipment that I use, okay? I'm back with newer equipment, not some old school stuff that's not worth as much as when I bought it. I have some old school equipment. It's now in the other room. Now I brought in the good stuff, the new stuff, the stuff that I use currently for my YouTube videos and for my landscapes and for just having fun. I am now essentially 99% retired. I rarely do any outside gigs, maybe a lecture once in a while, an exhibition once in a while, but very rarely now. I'm sort of fading into the background, okay? First of all, my number one camera that I just bought within the last 5 years is the Nikon D800, a very nice camera with 36 megapixel sensor. I really like it a lot. It takes very good pictures, has good, it just takes good pictures, okay? And of course it has, I use primarily the 50 millimeter f1.4 lens. Why did I pick the 50 millimeter 1.4 lens? Because it's sharp, okay? That's the only reason. This is a bigger sensor. It can discern, unsharp images more readily than a smaller sensor, sensor like 12 megapixels or 20 megapixels. So it requires something sharper, okay? And it's also very good in low light and has very shallow depth of field if I want to control it. And most of my photographs that I shot in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s were with a, standard lens. With my Hasselblad, I used an 80 primarily. With my Nikon F2 back in the day, I shot with a 50 millimeter, okay? So let me take a picture of my other camera and I'll show this over this video, my little elements here. Let me just focus. Let me turn it on first, that always helps, huh? 1, 2, 3. So I have I'm gonna be talking over these photographs now. That's my Lumix G85 with kit lens. It has a 12 to 60 kit lens. The 12 means that it's comparable to full frame cameras at 24, and the 60, of course, you double that, that's 120, okay? I mainly bought it to shoot 4K video and also for, traveling about and taking pictures, but something that's lightweight. Supporting the camera is my Benro carbon fiber tripod. This tripod cost I think it was $400. It's an expensive tripod. Once you get old, you buy things that are nice because you can afford them because you saved all your life. So this is a very nice setup. I have my microphone connected directly to it. Now let's get back to what else I have on my table. Another lens. This lens I bought, I think, for $35. I saw various reviews of this lens, this Nikon full frame lens, by various professional photographers, and they said it was super sharp. It was super sharp. But also they said it was super cheaply made. It makes funny noises, and you can hear that. And it's very plasticky. It's super light also. But it goes all the way from 80 millimeters all the way to 28. Perfect. I use this for landscapes and also for portraits of once in a while that I do some people. Again, this works with my Nikon D800, and it takes good pictures. That's the number one criterion that I have. I want them to be sharp, and I want the pictures to be high quality. I could buy a zoom, a 70 to 200 2.8 zoom, or I think it's a 24 to 70 Nikkor zoom f2.8, but they cost $2,000 each. I don't want to spend that kind of money. If I was back in the day, and maybe I would buy it. Okay. I also have this little tripod. I'm going to try to go quicker now. And all these, I always use Arca Swiss. My Nikon, my Lumix, they all have Arca Swiss plates, so I can use it interchangeably. This is a bit, this bends too readily with a Nikon, but with a Lumix, no problem. And of course I like it because it has a little tripod here, also built in. It's a Coleman. If you have any questions about any of my equipment, feel free to email me, or in the description or the comment section, just ask me, what is this thing? It says here the CB2, Coleman CB2, okay? Ooh, this is something I got recently. Okay. It's the Pixel TW283. It's essentially a wireless remote. It doesn't cost much. And it works with my Nikon, and I use it to do landscapes and different interval, photography, just for fun. I'm just beginning to do that stuff because, again, what did I do before? Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I used to shoot documentary photographs. I would go to events, capture the activity going on, be it a Chamber of Commerce meeting, or a rally, or a demonstration, people down the street having a good time, whatever, and I would shoot portraits in the studio. So I, didn't use this stuff earlier, so I'm changing my modus operandi, and I'm just doing fun stuff now, okay? Here's something I use rarely. It's a microphone. You can attach a lapel microphone to this, and you get incredible audio. It's the Zoom H1, and of course they have new iterations of it. Again, if you want crisp, great audio, use this. Just connect a lapel microphone like I have right here to this, press record, and you'll have some tremendous audio. And this only cost me, I think, 69 bucks. The black version was $100. So I said, I'll get the blue one for 69 bucks. I have this little light I just bought recently. It's an LED light. I bought it at Adorama, just like my Lumix. I buy everything from Adorama. By the way, I'm not getting any commissions from anybody. I'm not going to have any links to all these products. I'm just talking about them, okay? If you want to buy these products, I'll be more than happy to inform you, tell you what I'm doing with these, where I got these things and where you can buy them. I'm not going to get any commission, okay? I'm not pimping products just to make a buck, okay? Some people get pimp products to make a buck. I don't pimp products to make a buck. I pimp products because I like them, okay? This works very nicely. I did some lighting of a dark scene at a several second exposure. It came out very nice. I'm just playing with this. You can put this on top of your camera, again, but I'm not much into, I'm more into natural light and stuff like that. This might work for a little bit of fill light once in a while. I'll try that once in a while. What else do I have? I have finally, last but not me, last is, I say the best for last. This is my GoPro Hero 8. Nah, it's not a GoPro Hero 8. I just put a little sticker on there that said GoPro Hero 8. I know all of you people out there that have GoPros, Hero 7 Blacks are going, what? He got one of those? Or I didn't know that was out already. Yeah, it's going to be out by the time this video is, in about 6 months or so. But it's just a cheap, action camera. I mainly use this for shooting some RV videos once in a while, or some, inside my truck as I'm traveling around. I go, hey, I'm really enjoying myself driving down the road. Isn't this fabulous? And I pose and I look concerned or interested. So that's what all I use this for. It's, the quality of the 4K video on this is poor. Poor to almost average. Compared to my Lumix, which is, I give it a good solid B, okay? My wife has a GH5, that's an A. That's very nice video. And she never reuses it. It's over there in the closet collecting dust, by the way. So this has been Jesús Manuel Mena Garza. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I would greatly appreciate it. I hope you lasted throughout this video presentation of mine talking ad nauseum about photography. I love photography. I've been a photographer since I've been 11 years old. Back in 1963, when I bought my first camera at the San Jose flea market. Now as an old fart, and I'm going to be turning 67 very soon, I still love photography and taking pictures, okay? So I'd like to thank you again for checking out my video. Don't forget again to like, subscribe, and share. Gracias. Adios.